Okay, let's get started. Hi everyone, I'm DeLong and I'm happy to present VL-JEPA on behalf of this amazing team. I'm a PhD student at Hong Kong University of Science and Technology, and right now I'm at Meta Fair at Paris. So today this talk will be more on something that is not really written in the paper. It's more about the high-level motivation and the positioning of VL-JEPA, especially in this world modeling workshop. I want to explain why we need a VL-JEPA for world models. Okay, so we want to introduce a paradigm of world model, which we want to call vision language world modeling. So the end goal is to have a latent space world model that operates on abstract representation of action embeddings and world state embeddings. And we train this on a large scale of video corpus. That is the end goal. But the problem is we need to have good embeddings. And the way we do it, we approach this problem is through natural language. We use natural language to expose explicit supervision to embedding models, such that we make sure that those embeddings are good and we can train a predictor on top of it as a latent world model. So to do vision language modeling, we have 3 stages. The first stage is to generate textual action and state annotations, and this can be done by a VLM and LM pipeline. The pipeline is heavy and slow, but they can generate pretty high-quality textual annotations. And second, once we have the video and the associated action and state labels, we can actually distill the whole pipeline into an efficient model, which is VL-JEPA. And it's essentially to compress the textual annotation into continuous embeddings. And once we have this embedding model, we can scale this embedding model to large-scale video data set and do a video world model in a latent space. So that is the whole design of this paradigm. And the core of this paradigm is this VL-JEPA. This VL-JEPA should be able to extract action embeddings as the inverse dynamics model from the video, also extract the state embeddings. Importantly, here we need state embeddings that contain only minimal sufficient task-relevant information. So typical clip model cannot directly do it because we need to have extra conditioning of what is the current goal, what is the current task. So we have this textual query here can provide VL-JEPA the information of what is the current goal, what is the goal description or the objects of interest that need to be represented. And then we can extract the target embedding from video input. So that is the overall design and why we need a VL-JEPA instead of only relying on clip. So we have 3 stages, and today I will present our progress of implementing this paradigm, which includes the first and second stage. The first stage is to construct a VLM-LM pipeline to extract action and state annotations from unlabeled videos. So here is the pipeline for action labeling. The detail is presented in this Action 100M paper, a large-scale video action data set. So the procedure is actually pretty straightforward. We have unlabeled video. We first perform temporal segmentation, and then we do hierarchical dense labeling, just do standard video captioning and free captioning. And then we feed all the text, all the captions, tree of captions, into LM and instruct it to extract the actions that we want. And we run this pipeline on a lot of videos, on how to 100M, 1.2 million videos, and get a big data set. And here is some visualization of the derived labels. We feed the underlying video to VL-JEPA and train it to predict the embedding of the textual labels. So this is for video action labeling. And actually, the same pipeline can also be modified to extract world state embeddings, world state annotations. Now here is an example of so we have actions here, and we have this box of that is a description of current world state of the video segment. So it includes what are the status of each object, what is the attributes, current attributes, and what are the relation of this object. So more detail is presented in this paper, planning with reasoning using vision language world model. So right now we have the training data. We use VL-LM pipelines to generate action labels and state labels. And right now we are ready to train a VL-JEPA model. And here is the architecture of VL-JEPA. So it has several components. First is X encoder. It is a video encoder that takes video as input and output the semantic embedding of the video. So here we use the VL-JEPA 2 encoder. And then we have predictor. Here we use Llama 3 transformer layers. And takes the VL-JEPA 2 features with extra conditioning of the textual query and to predict the S hat Y, which is the prediction of the target text. And that prediction of embedding is trained to match the output of Y encoder, which embeds the target Y into latent space. The loss is just to align the two embedding in blue with additional regularization because we want to train the whole system end-to-end. We need some additional regularization for anti-collapse. And optionally, we can have a Y decoder if you want to understand what information is represented in the embeddings. It can attach to the embedding and read out the information content and express in natural language. But this Y encoder is not involved in the main training stage of the VL-JEPA. Okay, we train VL-JEPA and we want to evaluate VL-JEPA on existing well-established benchmarks. So what tasks can VL-JEPA do? So first is vision text-to-text generation. We can have a video input here and a prompt here. VL-JEPA predicts the answer embedding here, and it can be read out into natural language, like when necessary in some real-time streaming applications. And then it's VQN classification. You have video input, you have the question, a pretty answer embedding. And here for classification and VQA, typically you have some candidates. You can encode the candidates and match and select which one is the best one by measuring the distance. Reversely, you can also do retrieval. Say you have a pool of videos. You encode them with VL-JEPA using a captioning prompt. You have embedding of each video. And you have a retrieval query. You can select which one is the closest. And we want to emphasize that all those tasks can be handled by a unified model architecture and a single embedding space. And here are some numbers. So first we evaluate action recognition. In this work, we focus on action. Here is the result of scaling VL-JEPA using the action 100M dataset that we generated. And we can see that there is a clear log-linear relationship, and we get consistent improvement when we scale the model with more data. We also have, so this is with action 100M, and we call the resulting model as a VL-JEPA base, the first blue line. And we also have an SFT model, which is exposed to more human annotated data, also VQA data. And we measure it and compare the performance with specialist model, specialist SOTA, that optimize individually for each benchmark. And we can see that the gap is not so big. It's approaching the SOTA optimized in each narrow domain. And here, VL-JEPA is a single generalist model. At the same time, we also evaluate VQA. Here we view VQA as a proxy of word state extraction. And we select 4 VQA dataset, which is perception-centric. It includes GQA, which is about question about object status and object relationship and object attributes. We also have TeleQA, which is object counting with semantic constraints. Also, POP and POP-V2 is yes-no question about object existence. And we can see that VL-JEPA roughly matches the performance of InterruptLib and the Queen VL on those benchmarks. We want to note that, so although there are more recent and advanced VLM that outperform VL-JEPA, we want to note that this is only with 1.6 billion parameters. And also this model, at the same time, outperforms the PE video, outperform clip, outperform CLIP2 on classification and retrieval is the same model. And then I want to show some examples of VL-JEPA's embedding space, because in the end, those are evaluations for specific downstream tasks. The end goal of VL-JEPA is to facilitate facilitate vision language word modeling using its output embedding space. So here is the visualization of output action embeddings. So we have video input and the output. So it's open the fridge, taking ingredients from the fridge, taking ingredients, close the fridge, open the fridge, then take ingredient from the fridge, close the fridge. Okay. Another example. So we can actually see that it can track the procedural activity from this egocentric video. Put it back inside the box, close the box, and in the end, put it inside the cabinet. So this is for action tracking. And actually, this can be applied to the wearable smart glasses because they are egocentric videos. You can do actual real-time demonstration of this for procedural assistance for smart glasses. So this is one internal demo we have demonstrated last year. So those are for action tracking and action embedding. So we also have some results for state tracking. So you can ask, put banana in the white bowl, whether this is satisfied, and measure the prediction, the distance of prediction between yes, with yes and with no. You can embed yes and embed no and measure the distance between the predict one and those references. So you can see that no, not satisfied, no, 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 yes. Another example. Put fork spoon in the pen holder. No, no, yes. Okay. The last one, put the block in the box. It's holding the block. No, no, yes, no, no, yes. Okay. Yeah, so that is some demonstration. And here we only compare yes-no embedding, and later we will further continue this paradigm and try to make this embedding to be more comprehensive, to extract all the task relevant information in the video and use that for training word modeling, and planning. Okay, so that concludes my presentation, and thank you all for listening, and I'm happy to take any questions. Thank you.
We have time for a question before the break, yeah.
Thank you for the talk. I think it's very, very good work. I'm looking forward to read the paper and actually try it. But my question is, I have a very simple question. Do you fine-tune the video encoder?
Yes.
Do you think it's going to work if you do not fine-tune the video encoder?
Yes.
Do you think it's going to be like as good?
No. Okay.
But like how? Like, can you elaborate?
Yeah. So this presentation is a very abstract representation of this work. We can talk for more details in the poster session. Actually, Willie Cheng is here. He is also one of the first author. So for video encoder, actually there are several stages in VL-JEPA training. We have first image pre-training, only 1 frame per input. And then we have video pre-training, 8 frames per input with frozen video encoder. So that is the main training stage with Action 100M. So after that, we append a small training, third training stage with 32 frames per video and unfrozen video encoder. So if you're looking at the Action 100M paper, we actually have per dataset performance change in the 3 stages. It's usually like first stage is for image alignment, it increase a bit. Action 100M main stage pre-training with frozen encoder increase a lot. And in the end, you use more frames and unfrozen encoder, then you increase a bit. But we cannot really afford to use the whole 32 frame for the full stage with unfrozen encoder. It's just a matter of computational and memory optimization. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks. So let's thank Dilong again. And we now have a coffee break of 10-15 minutes, and then we will be back for Jiting, Mark, and Karen. Thanks.